National Police have made in the fight against crime. We'll be bringing you issue from the Mambagre alleged murder incident, the 704 community in the Duboro alleged murder incident, and additional information regarding the arms that were discovered at the Freeport of Monrovia and other reviews from around the country. On this note, I'm pleased to call upon the communication head of the Liberian National Police, Honorable Moses Senior, for the briefing. Thank you.
Well, let me say thank you so much, Anthony Nyalu, and I want to. It's always a pleasure having you take up your, busy time to come and honor our invitation. So we are very much grateful for that. And so, like he has told you, this invitation is to give you further update on our previous press conference of confiscation of arms and ammunitions, both at the Freeport of Monrovia and in the Monrovia community, at a home of a Liberian American that is based in the United States of America. So in furtherance of that, the Inspector General of Police, in our last press conference, revealed to you that we would have searched the container that is currently under the look of custom as we carry out a vigorous search and seizure operation in the wake of discovering more arms and ammunitions that were brought to this country. And so that operation was carried out on Saturday, and it is of interest to inform you, members of the press, that we're able to also discover additional ammunitions on the container. And we discovered 1,000 pellet bullets, in other words, pellet rounds, on the container as part of our search operation. And so these rounds that you see around this table are the rounds that were discovered on Saturday on the container at the Freeport of Monrovia, in addition to our search operation. So for the sake of having you understand what these rounds are for, I will ask one of our arms unit officers to briefly tell you what these ammunitions are used. You're welcome.
Yes, I'm Chief General of Police, Peter Fullobon, Chief of Operation Small Arms Control in the Liberian National Police. Now you see, during the first search on the container, the other rounds and ammunition were discovered. For scale control and brutal check, this is why I'm looking across these pellet rounds. You see this pellet round, it can even be used in our local single barrel. So they will even use it for other business purpose, to sell it to other people, like where they have these short single barrel run all internet. You can see with other people, that they terrorize people. So this round can also go in it. There's a pellet round, and they use it also for hunting. It can also be used for hunting purpose. So, and these were discovered that one pipe of this is 25 units. So there is 5, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, as you all see here.
Yes, so thank you so much. And the total of these rounds sum up to 1,000 pellet rounds. And so in the last press conference, we displayed to you those high-grade military weapons. Please lower your monitor. We displayed to you those high-grade military weapons that were discovered both from the container at the Freeport of Monrovia and that of the private home of, the suspect that we are seeking after for arrest and prosecution in line with these arms and ammunitions. So it is our commitment, like the Inspector General told you, to ensure that the motive behind the bringing to this country of these arms and ammunition is established, and that appropriate legal actions can be taken in protecting the peace and stability of our country. Distinguished members of the press, we're also pleased to inform you of the confiscation of 500,000 Liberian dollars counterfeit notes at the Bull Waterside border point. Earlier, on the 7th of January at 10 a.m., 3 individuals were attempting to enter Liberia with this huge sum of counterfeit, 500,000 Liberian dollars. And they were intercepted at the Bull Waterside border point. And these individuals include Sepu Kane, a Liberian, 37 years old; Mohammed Kamara, also a Liberian, 37 years old; Baboyi Kamara, a Guinean national, 35 years old. These 3 individuals are currently at the Bull Waterside, and they will be transferred to Monrovia to face prosecution. We want to say to the Liberian populace, with the reports of counterfeiting that we've presented to you, especially with the confiscation of huge sums of counterfeit, it is important that as you do your business transactions, you be very, very mindful of the banknotes that you receive from people who come to transact with you. And you might ask me, how is it possible to know the difference between the counterfeit and the original Liberian dollars? When the Central Bank of Liberia was releasing these banknotes to the public, they did a lot of awareness on features on these banknotes. So it is important that you do counter checking just to be on the safe side, so that you are not duped in the process with these counter notes. So we are urging many of our citizens. There's counterfeit money on the market. So as you receive these monies, please try to counter check before you do business with these individuals. It's also important for us to inform you, Liberians and residents, we have started, like the Inspector General announced, a very rigorous operation of taking off flashers and tints from vehicles. And I want to re-emphasize, we have started a rigorous operation of taking off flashers and tints from vehicles that are plying our streets, especially vehicles, flashers and tints that are being carried by individuals that are unauthorized. If you are not authorized to carry flasher and tints on your vehicles, when you parade your vehicle in the streets, when your vehicle is intercepted, we'll remove those flashers and tints. We are going to remove them. That is why we are signing to you this warning. Please remove flashers and tints from your vehicles. With all of what the progress we're making, especially with the discoveries of arms and ammunition, it is important that we tighten our screw in ensuring that no one undermines the peace and stability of this country. And so we are urging our citizens to take note, citizens and residents, to take note of said warning, especially the driving public. Distinguished members of the press, we're also pleased to inform you that the Liberian National Police has launched a full-scale investigation into the death of a 15-year-old girl identified as Princess Hammer, who was discovered on the 25th of December with parts extracted from the deceased. She was discovered in an unfinished building in the Peace Land community, Mount Barclay. We have had meetings with the family of the deceased victim, female victim, and we have assured them of our commitment to ensuring that the perpetrator of said act will not go with impunity, but will need to face the full weight of the law. When crimes are committed, sometimes people wonder, when are we going to make arrests? How long is it going to take? When crimes are committed, it depends on the free flow of information that we receive that will lead us to effecting arrest of suspects. So we are very much optimistic that the general public, or you may say the community, the surrounding community in the Peace Land community, will give us useful information that will lead to the arrest of this suspect that carried out such act. No matter how long it takes, said individual will be arrested. Distinguished members of the press, the Liberian National Police has so far arrested one Cyrus Logan, 16 years old, in connection to the death of a 31-year-old female identified as Alpha Gray, whose body was discovered on the 6th of January in an unfinished building opposite the Dupont Road 704 nightclub with multiple wounds on her body. Suspect Logan is presently in our custody at the headquarters of the Liberian National Police and is undergoing investigation. And for the sake of the openness of this investigation, we brought in the suspect that is undergoing investigation for display to you members of the press. I would just appreciate you can stand him up there so members of the press can have a view of this young man that is alleged to have carried out such an act of the deceased victim that was murdered in the 704 community, Dupont Road. That is Cyrus Logan. Thank you very much. Cyrus Logan is being investigated by our investigators. He will be duly charged to court to account for said action as committed in the 704 community in Dupont Road. The remains of the deceased victim, Alpha Gray, has been turned over to the family for burial. Distinguished members of the press, it is also important to inform you that there was also another incident occurred in the Kesali Barrack, Camp Kesali Barrack, Robertsfield Highway, where a male identified as Gentle Brian, 16 years old, was discovered dead on the 26th of December in a lagoon around the PX Post Exchange within the Kesali Military Barrack. The coroner of Monserrado County was dispatched as per our usual procedure. Coroner examination was conducted on the remains of the deceased. In other words, physical examination was conducted and the coroner report points to the fact that little gentle Brian died as a result of alleged drowning. And so it is important for us to inform the press, because one of the newspapers, specifically Front Page Africa, made a publication in this direction and was concerned as to what led to the death of little Brian. So the coroner report says alleged drowning. Distinguished members of the press, I'm also pleased to inform you that Liberia's footballing celebrity, James Salinsa Diba, had gone on social media and some of the local stations reporting that our Deputy Inspector General of Police for Operation, Honorable Marvin Sakor, deliberately prevented him from entering this SKD stadium when Grand Bassa and other teams were playing in the National County Sports Meet. Within less than 48 hours, James Salisa Diba has somersaulted on his initial allegation and has offered an apology to our Deputy Inspector General of Police for Operation Honorable Marvin Sakor on grounds that his allegation is very unfortunate and said was done on the basis of mistaken identity. We want to say to our footballing soccer star, James Salisa Diba, Honorable Marvin Sakor graciously accepts your apology. However, we want to caution not only James Salisa Diba, but the rest of the Liberian populace and residents that character building is very, very expensive. People fight to build their characters and they do everything to protect their characters. Before you make any allegation on an individual, it's important you cross-check your facts before coming to the public. We have a very gullible social media public where some people are not concerned of digging up facts about information that are placed on social media. They run with face value any information they see on Facebook. That's why it is important for us to cross-check our facts before coming out to the public. We remain very much resolute, distinguished members of the press, in ensuring that the coming elections is going to be held under a peaceful atmosphere, and that anyone who is bent or thinking about orchestrating a ploy in undermining or derailing the peace of our country, said person or persons will be dealt with robustly. We're not saying this because we want to brag. We're saying this because we have the support of the international community. We have the support of the Liberian people. The Liberian people are tired of war. The Liberian people are tired of public disturbances. We want peace. And that is why this administration, under the leadership of Honorable Patrick Sudu, will do everything possible in our own reach to ensure that we will robustly deal with anyone who attempts to undermine the peace and stability of this country. And so, distinguished members of the press, I want to say thank you so much. If you have questions, you are welcome to ask your questions. Thank you so much.
Okay.
My name is Winston Hammer. I'm from FM. I have two questions for the police report question. And good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My first question has to do with the let's talk about counterfeit that were intercepted by individuals at the Bow Water site. We want to know who and those that intercepted that particular money. And the money in question, I think we are not seeing the money to confuse the public whether it's a counterfeit or wasn't a counterfeit. My second question has to do with the first press conference. You said there was a guy who was arrested in the city at the time people spoke about this particular harm. And up to now, we have not laid eye on the guy that we got arrested from the city in the Providence.
Okay, so again, like the saying goes, when you go to the church late, sometimes you have to be very careful how you raise, a song. In our last press conference, we displayed Ezekiel here, and the rest of the folks that were here saw him. Okay? Ezekiel? You didn't see him? He's here, he's currently downstairs. If you want to see him, there's no issue about that. If you want to see him, Ezekiel is here. He's under the custody of our anti-robbery unit. Okay? So if you want to see Ezekiel, you can see Ezekiel. We can make Ezekiel available to you. Okay? And also what I'm going to do, as head of Press and Public Affairs, I'm going to work with talk show hosts because there has been this misconception that has been spilled in the public about the validity of the information we are putting to the public. There are some individuals that are claiming this is some orchestration, and they don't believe it. So we will put some of you journalists will put you in contact with the shipper who has this container at the port, so that you have some kind of an interview, because the shipper is quite different from Baker. All right, Baker was just someone who sent boxes for the shipper to send. So we'll allow you to have a conversation with, the shipper of the items at the port. So that will also give an impression to the public that there's no, faking of what we're doing. And then your other question, the counterfeit is being brought to Monrovia because we are collaborating with LRA and the rest of the folks. So as I speak to you, the counterfeit is being brought, but it was just important for us to let you know that.
Yeah, that was confiscated. Who that intercepted the counterfeit.
So it's actually we have at the border point we have the joint security. They were the ones that confiscated the counterfeit. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. My name is Idek Siki. I report for Township Ghana. I have two questions, and then another one's a follow-up from a situation in Lofa County. You talked about the removal of things and other items from vehicles that are considered unauthorized. So can you kindly tell us what qualifies for to be considered as authorized person to carry the thing?
So the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General of Liberia, for anyone who wants to use any of these materials like a tin or flasher, the Ministry of Justice via the minister, has the authority gives approval, to individuals within the state on a need basis, right? However, there are provisions, there are individuals in our state who are exempted. And those individuals, you're talking about the VIP and the VVIPs. Those individuals, like you're talking about the president, the vice president, the speaker, those are people who are exempted from such, restrictions. Other than that, anyone that wants to use these materials, we have to make application to the Ministry of Justice.
And next question in relation to the confiscation of those arms and ammunition. I heard earlier from the past press conference that there is some kind of bilateral discussion to have the alleged person extradited or prosecuted. Can you give us progress?
So like the Inspector General said, this is diplomacy. We at the level of the police cannot dictate the course of diplomacy. We only give you an alert that we're going to work with, our diplomatic heads to see what is, possible in terms of either extradition or prosecution in America. However, when we get to the point where you need to be informed, we'll definitely let you know.
So
Thank you.
The development from Lofa County about the death of a 13-year-old who was discovered with her genitalia parts of the extracted. Has the LNP got any information on that?
With our investigation,
one of the Senemir's traditional women husband was also discovered dead.
So those investigations are ongoing. Appropriately, hopefully, when we make progress, I will definitely let you know. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, my name is Kolia Phillips. I work for the Liberian newspaper. One question, please. There's a confusion about the person the MD said is responsible for shipping the arms to Monrovia, one boy Baker. Another information has it that there's a board Baker in Texas and there's another board Baker in Minnesota. Can we just tell, which only board Baker I'm talking about here?
Well, in our last press conference, we told you the resident of Boyd Baker in America. We told you Boyd Baker lives in Texas. All right? Boyd Baker lives in Texas. As a matter of fact, we've already obtained the passport information of Boyd Baker. All right? So, every other development relating to this investigation will be provided to you, members of the press, for public consumption. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Fabi, and I work for ELPC. I'm concerned about the crime suspects that we heard about last Thursday concerning of arms coming from the people of Liberia. And so it's been over 48 to 72 hours. Why aren't they being charged by the police and sent to court? Because that's infringement on the rights. And probably our habeas corpus could be placed on the LNP.
You are asking a very sound question. But let me say this. We are aware that we have 48 hours to keep anyone in our custody. We are very much highly aware of that. And so there are provisions in our investigation that provide that if we must keep anybody beyond 48 hours, I'm not saying keep them at the level of the police, but if there's need for extension of our investigation, we usually will have those persons signed for temporarily while the investigation continues. In this case, that is exactly what we're doing. Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Kelvin David, work for Crime FM. I'm concerned about your comments about suspicions of war. In your latter comments, does this mean that the information you have gathered so far has convinced you rather, that these weaponries were brought for warfare?
Well, Calvin, good question. Again, like we told you in the last press conference, we said these weapons that were displayed or that are being displayed are military-grade weapons. So when you have military-grade weapons that are being brought to the country, it should speak volume, And so every information about the, coming to this country of those, or bringing to the country of those weapons is not something that we take lightly as a joint security. We take it very seriously, and that's why we said if anyone wants to plunge this country in any, backwardness of war, that will not happen under our watch as joint security.
A follow-up to that, so far the suspects that you've confirmed suspects, have they confirmed names of persons inside Liberia, outside Liberia so far in connection?
So for now, we only have Boyd Baker, who is the shipper of these military-grade, weapons. And those individuals that we brought in here at the headquarters of the police, like Barbara, Diba, Ezekiel, and Medina Pine. Medina is the broker, the custom broker of the owner of the container in America. One Sam Kamara is the owner of the container. And then Ezekiel, according to Ezekiel, he works as house maid, at the home of Baker, Boyd Baker in Broadville. And so Ezekiel also was brought in because when we went for the search and seizure, he was seen in the ceiling, of the home of Boyd Baker. So these individual rights are being respected on our laws. Like Fabi asked, they've been temporarily released while reporting and the investigation continuing. Every step of the way, we'll brief you members of the press on the outcome. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kavamani is 20 Johnson. I'm concerned about there are a few more months to elections. Killing all over the country. I think I placed a call to it yesterday night. Another killing in Sanyo. After pressing the town, they are calling me back and forth. That 2 times they have been quite hard to fight the police into that situation.
Yeah, you see, it's a kind of delicate situation when crimes are committed when the police is not around. And people will expect that the police will just apprehend the suspect right away. So it takes collaboration, cooperation, and coordination. So as I speak to you, the police there is working with the locals. However, suspect being arrested, all of that information will be provided to you subsequently. But we are making efforts to sign it. Thank you. So we'll take one more question. You have to.
When it Joseph Yatulana for Capital during a last press conference, we told us that Benjamin Baker, request on the American airline, and then they now call the name of the airline last month. During the close of last year, there were a huge quantity of banknotes that were arrested by the police. So we wanted to bring us up to speed as it relates to where is the banknotes now. Particularly 500 banknotes on Facebook.
Oh yes, those banknotes are being turned over to the Central Bank of Liberia. Usually that's a procedure. Whenever we confiscate, we go to the regular investigative procedures and then we turn over to the Central Bank of Liberia. To the issue of the name of the airline is called America Airline.
Okay.
Thank you for this very taxi with your current investigation, I said before this, I said that the people. What have you gathered from those that local people are interested in the voting of this local commission? What have you gathered?
I think you listened to the press conference. I said we are interested in understanding the motive, but as I speak to you, we're still talking to those individuals. I said we're still speaking to those individuals, and once we get something tangible, we definitely will let you know. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Carter, I'm Anthony, and I work for Everyone's Radio. On the issue of Afia's death, what was the confrontation that led to Afia's illness?
Who?
Afa? Yes.
Well, that's why we are investigating. The investigation is actually going to establish what happened that led to her death. And I just told you that we have the suspect in our custody, and that's why he's being spoken to. So the outcome of what he says is definitely going to be captured in our charge sheet, and you definitely will be informed.
Has the LFP gotten any photograph of the alleged smuggler so far, apart from just the passport?
The smuggler? Yeah, like I said, we have his passport. Okay? Thank you so much. Well, I just can't say that for now, but we have his passport. Okay? Thank you so much.